I think ever since I was young, I was very keen to have my own business. When I must have been around 12, and skateboarding was becoming a popular hobby. I started offering the servicing of skateboards, bearings and wheels. It started when I was really quite young, and I think I found it hard when I started working as an employee because I felt like I was really being forced into a box to get a job done. And that I found quite challenging at times. My name's Daniel Mesfin. I'm one of the co-founders of Print and Frame Ethiopia and Cubox. The company here is very much a family. So there's a lot of staff that have been here for decades, and a lot of that was also luck. And we came across brilliant people who didn't necessarily have experience in the field of furniture manufacturing or printing or exhibition stand design and build or upcycling, but they just showed a willingness to learn and grow and innovate and be part of the story.
So we're heading over to the assembly area. This is where all the wooden materials get put together into the shapes and products that they are. We have to be very innovative when it comes to the sourcing of materials. Here in Ethiopia, it's often very difficult to buy the things that you need, so you have to find replacements or workaround solutions. But that's also taught us to be much more resourceful. And at the end of the day, we want to have the best possible output and outcome, but we always do have to consider what materials are available to us.
Because our business is very labour intensive, we have 47 full-time employees across all of our companies. The people came first, and it's often not just those 47 people, it's their immediate relatives, their sometimes even distant relatives and close friends that rely on their financial support and their employment. But yeah, back in the middle of 2020, we had a brilliant team. We had equipment, machinery, materials, and we said, okay, what can we do with it? So the first idea that came out of the box and was easy to implement was Print and Frame Ethiopia. These two pieces have been digitally designed and then reproduced on canvas. So we're quite excited by it because we feel like there's a lot of opportunity behind digital art, as some people may agree. But one of the challenges we had here is that there's no way to produce it and really show it to people in its physical form. So we work with a number of digital artists, and Yabi is one of them. And the pieces really come out amazingly well. These two particular pieces focus on Afrofuturism and black culture. So topics that are really very relevant and important to a lot of people across the world. We also work with photographers. And again, it's often the case that photographers have an abundance of phenomenal images that show so many amazing stories, yet they don't have a way to share those images and stories with the world. So over the past year, we've organised a number of photography exhibitions with Ethiopian photographers. One in particular, Addis on Canvas, which was to showcase the culture and life in Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia, through different pairs of eyes. So when we call ourselves Print and Frame Ethiopia, we are a printing company and we are a framing company, but we also try and involve the artists that produce the work and give them a solid output and means to share their work with everyone that appreciates it. I'm very set on always seeing progress and real progress, not numbers, not necessarily financial statistics, but it could be something really simple. So I mean, for example, here in the woodwork shop, this year, which was one of the most challenging years for us financially because of COVID and also because of the fact that we were launching new businesses, we made the decision to import a dust collection system. And we really contemplated it because we said we can't afford this right now. It's not the right time. We should be investing in materials and stock. And in the end, we kind of just said, well, firstly, we want to safeguard the people that are working here, and that includes everyone. And secondly, I think you always, in the end, if you make a decision and you justify it, you'll always find a way out of what comes afterwards. And now it's nice to see that people aren't covered in dust when they come out of the wood workshop. The compound generally is much cleaner. And I think a lot of the staff have also appreciated that they feel much nicer at the end of the day because they aren't covered in sawdust. And this obviously, in many countries, this would be kind of the ABC of any kind of a factory. But when you're operating in Ethiopia, there's often a lack of regulation. And I mean, for example, this equipment, you can't buy it locally. So we had to use our foreign currency to import it. So it's also that these items are not available for most producers to buy. So this is also something that I hope would change in the future. But yeah, seeing these changes, that's I find really rewarding. And it goes from everything from the way that we do things to the way that our staff feel, the way that they progress and develop as people and professionals, and also obviously the output, and to sometimes look back and see what we built 3-4 years ago versus what we're building today with really the same infrastructure. That's quite rewarding. This is Cubox, Ethiopia's first modular furniture company. We're all about practicality, and the furniture that we've designed, called Cubox, was designed out of a problem. And I think many people can understand how difficult it is to find furniture that fits your home in Ethiopia. We all have different shaped rooms and different sized houses and apartments. We often have issues with transporting furniture. So the idea behind Cubox is that everything is modular. So if I want to remove everything from this particular Cubox, I can take it all apart with no screws and no nails. I can carry it up the stairs to my 4th floor apartment. I can stack it all on the roof of a car or a taxi. And best of all, it's made from high quality materials, and everything is interchangeable. So maybe you don't have kids today, but in 2 years' time, you suddenly realize that you need storage for all of your kids' toys, and then you might want to even jazz it all up a bit and have something more colourful that perhaps suits the room or your personal taste. So it's customizable furniture that is affordable, high quality, and super practical. Over the past few months, we've also made an effort to incorporate certain pieces that are made by other companies in Addis doing great things. So if you look closely, you can see that this particular basket was made from recycled newspaper. First of all, be ambitious, that's great. But don't underestimate how much work goes into developing a business. And I think often it's easy to see the front side of it and the glamorous bits and the shiny bits and the PR. But if you really go inside and look at what most businesses and the people that work in those businesses have to do so that shiny stuff and the nice stuff and the profit and the PR is seen, it's a lot of work. I think as a manager, it's very important that you do something that you're happy with, because that positive energy will naturally flow across the company, and other people, I hope, would then see that happiness and it would motivate them. Happiness is very important for me. I think personally it's important because if I'm not happy, I won't be a nice manager, and then my colleagues won't like me and generally things will go downhill from there. And we're often pushed here in Ethiopia to hire more people. And often it's actually not good advice at all, because what you end up doing is you hire hundreds of people and you don't train them properly and you don't invest enough time into developing them, and then your business stalls and it goes downhill, and then 300-400 people lose their jobs. So we've made an internal agreement not to exceed a headcount of 50 people. So we want to just remain at 50, and we want to then work internally on developing everyone across the spectrum. And we want to use technology and things that we should be using in the 21st century to grow our business. Yeah, mistakes are good and bad. Try to avoid them, but if you happen to find a big one in front of you, then deal with it, and most importantly, learn from it and share that learning. It's because of the culture in Ethiopia, you could often say that it's beneficial to a family to have a few people within that family that are highly skilled workers and have a serious career path and are paid well, rather than everyone in the family having a poorly paid, unskilled job. And I think that's more of a vision for the country as a whole, and perhaps how we, as a very small company with only 50 people, can have an impact above and beyond the 50 people that work alongside us.